Hey guys, AI Wizard here. So I'm not going to record the guide today. Depending on how this video will do, I might record the guide on the specific topic that I want to talk about now, which is privacy when it comes to using AI. So you probably heard of the trend or maybe even participated in the trend where people are sending their photos, images to ChatGPT, OpenAI model, to convert them to Ghibli type of images. It's a pretty popular trend on Twitter, on Reddit, on all social media platforms. You can see even Forbes is publishing articles about it and describing this trend. What people don't realize is that they are sending their private photos. Most of the time it's private photos that OpenAI might and can use for additional training, which means that your identity, your photo of your friends, photo of your partners might be used for the training. That entails that every time someone later uses another image model from OpenAI, it might generate the photos again of you, of your friends, of your partners, and so on and so forth. So I just want to kind of like raise a point about that because not everyone is aware. If you are watching this channel, you are either a beginner when it comes to AI, but you do have some interest. So I assume you guys already aware about the privacy when it comes to using AI. However, if I'm wrong, you can just like this video, and if it gets enough likes, I will record specifically privacy-oriented AI usage. I will create a proper guide for that, alright? Yeah, I just want to go through like some articles a little bit. So if we see this Forbes article on the privacy when it comes to using ChatGPT, and if we read it, this is a slightly outdated article at this point, but still, all of the information that is being passed to ChatGPT, to Google Gemini, and any other popular model, it's being used to train the data. Which means if one day, let's say, you share some secret information at your work or your personal secret information, because it's being used for AI model training. The way AI model training works, it sees something, it remembers it, and there is a chance that it might output the same thing to someone else. Now, yes, it's not so straightforward. It's not as simple as I described, but it might happen, all right? That's what I want to say. Now, in comparison, when you're using some social media platforms, for example, Facebook, Instagram, you kind of also give them access to all of your photos, for example, right? Usually. The difference is that, at least on some level, you do have a protection when it comes to, you do have a protection in terms of the privacy policy, usage terms, and so on, at least on some level. But most of the AI companies, AI tools right now, these days, are stating that they will use your data in order to train their AI. And that doesn't apply only for free tools, like some free AI tools out there. It also applies to the paid ones. So in my case, since I am involved a lot in development, there is a tool called Github Copilot, which is an AI that basically helps me to write code faster. And it's a great tool. I have no problems with it. However, already the tech companies, most of the finance tech companies, most of the healthcare companies, they do not allow usage of such tools because whenever developers are using these AI tools, they would basically read the code. And the code is proprietary. And okay, fine. You might make an argument that you as a user perhaps don't care about the code that some companies use to build their system. It doesn't matter if it goes to AI. However, that code might also contain a lot of sensitive credentials, keys, passwords, logins, usernames that AI will be trained on. And it is possible to extract that data from the AI models. Again, I'm not trying to bash on all of these companies. I know they're doing a lot to prevent this. However, it might happen. It is possible. And hence, I just want to raise this point because as a developer, I have to be very careful on what kind of tools I use in my workflow. Yes, everyone is talking about AI-assisted development and so on and so forth. However, in some cases, I can't do that because simply the company policies prevents that, or I just don't want to do it because I know that my code contains a lot of sensitive data, a lot of credentials. I don't want AI to get that and be trained on that information. You can see if you try to do a little bit of research, because I'm just showing a little bit of articles here, to be honest. One Google away, you can even ask AI about it, and you'll find a lot of articles, information, like community discussions like this, that are discussing a private way of using AI, because everyone is getting aware about how much data AI gets. It gets too much information, I would say, because when it comes to, again, existing apps, yes, obviously you are giving away a lot of information, especially on free apps, social medias, and so on. However, it's nowhere near to what you are giving out to AI, and especially an average person. Maybe you are a little bit aware. As a viewer, I have some confidence in you. If you are watching our channel, you are probably slightly more aware than your average person. However, your average person just simply not aware. It's not that they don't care. It's just that they're not aware about how much data they're feeding to AI. Especially those who are working at some companies. They're happily sharing a lot of company secrets to the AI without being aware, because maybe the company doesn't have any AI policy yet. We're still too early in that, right? And I just want to mention, like, you can see some companies that do care about privacy. So Proton is a company based in Switzerland. They're specializing in the private-oriented software. So they're building email client, data storage, calendar, VPN, and none of those tools. And they're guaranteeing the privacy. Therefore, if you try to use their software, you will not find AI features yet, because they are focusing, they're taking their time to actually implement it privately. Because unfortunately, yes, it does take time. It's much more easier to use OpenAI, Google Gemini, and so on and so forth, but they do care about the privacy. Companies that do care about your data, they are very careful in AI usage. There are two ways to actually privately use AI. First of all is to run AI kind of locally, not from the major providers like OpenAI and so on. For enterprise users, however, there are more options, because for companies, there are solutions that will help you to run the same performance models like OpenAI, like DeepSeek, like Anthropic models, however, in a private encapsulated environment. So the data will not be going back to the AI model for training. It will remain on your environment, basically. That's it for today's video. If this video does well, I'll prepare a nice guide for you when it comes to private usage of AI. I'll give you some tips as much as I can. And yeah, and as usual, if you need a consultation for your company on AI strategy, private usage of AI, implementing AI within your existing workflows, just head on to our profile on YouTube, click on this URL, book a call with us. That's it. Thank you guys. Bye bye.